Hey guys, Chop It On here, and I'm going to talk a little bit of golf and sports betting with you real quickly. It's one of those things that I enjoy doing. I like sports betting golf more than I like DFS golf, and this helps me use both Sports Bet Army and DFS Army together. So if you're contemplating joining both communities, this is actually a good way to get involved. I can use the DFS Army tools and projections to help me make solid sports bets over on the other side. And I like doing it with golf because I follow golf. I pay attention to golf. I'm a golfer like in real life, and I'm not really. I don't know. DFS has just never really been my thing for golf. I like it. I play it some around a lot of the major tournaments. I try to get into it and whatnot, but for some reason, it's just frustrating to get 5 and 6 guys through the cut all the time. And I have never had real smash weeks. That probably has something to do with it. That I've never had super successful weeks with it, so I don't get that rush that everybody else gets that does win over there. Um, so I've been taking tournament matchups, one-on-one player matchups, maybe betting some groups. Like I might get 5 choices, and they all have different odds, and who of these 5 guys is going to be the lowest man at the end of the tournament. I like betting those, and sometimes I get the 72-hole matchups between player A and player B at different odds and different pricing, and I just pick who's going to end up with the better score at the end of 72 holes, and it's kind of a head-to-head match, and based on pricing and stuff, I like to pay attention to those. Those are the ways that I like to bet golf, and been fairly successful at it in a few weeks. Again, very small sample size, but mostly just betting by feel. Gone 2-1 each week, up about 3 units over 3 weeks. And when I'm looking at this week, I kind of wanted to take a more data driven approach. I didn't really see any tournament matchups that I liked in terms of the players, nothing that jumped off the page. Oh, that guy's just a better player. I'll take him. Thanks for the price. Instead, I want to use some of the data at DFS Army to show us how to use some of the sports bet, tools or some of the sports bet picks that we might make. So, first of all, shout out to all the smaller ballers out there. You guys are killing it, and I'll keep tweeting all of your screenshots and everything as much as I can. We want to celebrate the community. Not everybody has thousands of dollars to swing around, but if you're one of those guys that, maybe doesn't win $1,000 very often, maybe win a few hundred, maybe even win 20 bucks, fire those at me, and the bigger screenshots, I'll ship them out there. I want people to see that we don't have to have big bankrolls to do damage in this industry. And that helps, showing me that you're winning and that the videos and that everything is helping. So, of course, like and subscribe the video. That stuff helps me target some of my content and helps me keep teaching us how to play different ways, different approaches to these sports. And of course, this one's going to be sports betting centric. But anyway, today's a big hockey day. I'll probably have a hockey video. If not, NBA Lock the Chalk. Something else will come out. I won't be quiet for long. And of course, Gold Bikini, Princess Leia, hooah. Am I right? That's the only reason we really pay attention to Return of the Jedi. I mean, shit, why else would you go watch anything else? When you're looking at my bookie, and I see matchups like Taylor Gooch and Lucas Glover over the tournament. So Taylor Gooch has to win by a stroke and a half or better, meaning they can't tie and he can't win by just one stroke. Okay? And Lucas Glover, on the other hand, can tie and can lose by one stroke, and I still cover that spread. So based on that, being that my bookie thinks this is an even matchup, they're trying to say who's going to win, and they're laying pricing based on getting that extra stroke. They're pricing it at minus 130. Or if you want to take it outright on the money line and just think Lucas Glover doesn't even need that stroke, he's just going to win, then you would bet it at plus 100. I like sticking to the even odds or better money lines or spreads. So I try to target, I don't mind giving the stroke and a half. I mean, a lot of times guys win by 3-4 strokes. I know that most of the time they're evenly matched and they're not going to win by that. And if they tie, they lose or whatever, that's fine. But I'll take the slightly plus payout in a lot of cases, or the even money payout, because all I have to do is win that particular pick 50% of the time. And if I think, or in this case, 45% of the time, and if I think, maybe even 48% of the time, if I think that there's a statistical advantage in Taylor Gooch, and I think it's a long-term, if they played each other 100 times on that course, if I think Gooch would win more than 48 of those times, then I'm going to take that bet. It's a positive EV bet to me. It shows value in the long run. It may not work this week, but it shows value over time. That's all I'm concerned about. Okay, so when I'm looking at these numbers, if I looked at Gooch and Glover, I can run into the Army DFS Army Domination Station Optimizer, because that's where the projections are. The grades and the projections are different weights and measures to create what a guy maybe should do. Again, it's a median projection. Most of the time he should be in this neighborhood. Well, I want to compare the two. If I took Taylor Gooch I see a 68 rounded here and a 62 here. So 68 and 62. All I have to do is remember that number and then type in Lucas Glover. 68 is better than this 62, and 62 is better than this 56 or 57. So Taylor Gooch has a decided advantage by our projections to win this match. He should perform better. At the end of 4 rounds, he should perform better. If this is a 63 versus a 62, and in some cases you'll find here this is a 56, the other guy was a 55, he's actually a little under. If it's conflicting, I won't look at it. But if it's relatively decided, 2 or 3 points on both sides, if whoever I'm looking at is 2 to 3 points higher than his opponent on this side and this side, I'll take it. I'll take that bet. To me, that tells me it just makes sense. To me, it tells me that he's in a good position. And again, I'm going to win over time. So I make 1 or 2 bets. It's like playing 1 or 2 head-to-heads against some guys out there. I could lose very, very easily on such a small sample. But if I took 50 of these, then I should win more than half of them. And if I'm winning more than half of them at even odds or better, then I'm making money. And that's all I really care about. I can handle the ups and downs of the variance. I'm going to use volume to smooth out my variance, my extreme highs and lows. I'm going to take some bad beats. I'm going to go on streaks, all this sort of stuff. But the baseline that you have to remember is by taking volume. That's another reason why I play MME instead of making single lineups anymore. I enjoy having 150 lineups out there as opposed to 3. Because to me, the volume of the lineups, as long as my general core of players that I'm focused on, my offenses in hockey that I'm focused on, if they do well, then it's just mixing and matching the right pieces in there. And that's the luck. I don't know if line 1 or line 2 in hockey is going to have the better night. So if I think the team's going to have a good night, I take some of line 1 and some of line 2 and combine them with other offenses around the league. And as long as that generalized core, that offense does well, then something of mine did well. And if something of mine did well, then I can post a net gain and maybe win a tournament. This is going to be the same way. We take these head-to-head matchups and we go for a little bit of volume. We're going to go for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bets per week instead of just 2 or 3. And we're going to see if this doesn't make sense. Okay? So we've already got Taylor Gooch over Lucas Glover. So giving the stroke and a half, he has to beat him by 2 shots. He can't just tie or beat him by 1. Right? But it's better than the minus 130, which tells me he is favored. But when you're going to give me plus 110 to beat you by a stroke or 2, I'll take that. I'll take the plus money. Okay? If I came down to Norlander and List, and then we'll do some bigger names that we all recognize, but just to show you again, Norlander is 70 rounded and 64. So 70 and 64, match him up with Luke List at 62 and 61. 70 and 64 is another decided advantage for Norlander. So I would double check the pricing here, and Norlander doesn't give me a money line, but Norlander giving up the stroke and a half is a plus 120. I would take that. Bet $1 to win $1.20. I don't give a shit what your bankroll size is. Make the bet. If the bet's the bet, you take the bet. You got to make the bet and take the bet. Am I right? So let's go down through a couple of guys that we might recognize. Let's look at Ricky Fowler. Fowler, 70 and 71 or 72. Call it 70 and 71. And he's taking on Gary Woodland. So I type in Gary Woodland. I got a 70 and 71 to beat, and it clearly beats Gary Fowler. Or Ricky Fowler has the advantage this week. So I'd bet him over Gary Woodland. John Rahm. You're going to find Rahm's got a high number, 88, 96. 88, 96, matched up with Rory McIlroy, who is an 86 and a 90. So 88 and 96 is better than 85 and 90, so I would bet John Rahm. Compare him to Xander Schauffele, 86 and 91. John Rahm at 88 and 96 is still a little bit better. I'd bet him to beat both those guys. And I might go back and look at the group pricing and see what John Rahm's price is to win the group, because he's probably in there with Rory and Justin Thomas and Xander and whatever else, and I'd double check, because if he's that big of an advantage over these 3 or 4 other guys, then he might be the pick to come out of the group and win the group at plus 250 or plus 300 or something like that. Again, it might be worth throwing a buck on. Am I using my full unit size on these? No, I'm testing the waters. When I test the waters, I'm never playing at full capacity. I'll scale up later as I've proven to myself that this might work. As I gain confidence in my idea, then I'll scale up. But in the meantime, I'll play really, really light. I'm betting $3, $4, $5 units right now, and I might bet $1 or $2 or $1.50 or something on these bets. Because even if I lose them all, I don't want it to demolish all the hard work I've done for the rest of my bankroll. I'm trying something new. When I'm trying something new, it makes no damn sense to play it like I play everything else that I've already kind of experimented with. Right? This is a new idea. Same with DFS. If you're playing MME for the first time, don't go play the dollar mini max and throw $150 in there. Make 25 lineups and dump them all in the nickels or the 50 cent or so, or the quarters or whatever. Play light until you get the hang of things, until you get a routine built up and you start posting some success, then start scaling up. Okay, let's be smart with our money. Let's not go back to redepositsville. That's a lonely town. But now you're starting to get the hang of it. Another one that I would show you is Bubba Watson. 73, 72, whatever. 72, 72. Easy to remember. 72, 72. And he's playing Jason Day. 64 and 65. Would I take 72, 72 over a 64, 65? Uh-huh. So I'm betting Bubba. Bubba's price is like a, to give up the stroke and a half again because he's technically favored is even money. So at even money, put down $5, win $5 back. That's how the West was won, folks. You make smart bets, you make sharp bets, you use the data to back it up, and you get in here and you play some volume so that it mitigates some of those losses. If you have an edge, even if it's a small edge, 52% type edge, you need a lot of volume to realize that edge. Otherwise, you're going to go through a lot of ups and downs and a lot of swings. And people don't realize that that's what DFS is full of, is small edges. And you're betting small edges that compound on each other. And if you bet those small edges, you best be taking some volume. So again, that's why I play a little bit more MME now than I do building single lineups. I want the volume. I have an edge in that game. I have an edge even in the sports bet army game because of the coaches that I use and the coaches that I'm learning from, and then some of these ideas that I'm throwing out there myself. I know I have an edge, but I don't have a big edge because the game itself makes sure nobody has a huge edge. Therefore, my volatility is going to be high. And when my volatility is going to be high, I'm going to need a big bankroll to make any kind of money. And to make a big bankroll, I have to grind up smartly and take advantage of bonuses and take advantage of boosts and take advantage of matching bonuses and take advantage of all that stuff that the industry is offering right now because the ship is going to sail. When these new websites come online and are aggressive for your dollar, you have to get in there and you have to get ahead of the wave because this is not this initial boom in this industry is not going to last forever. I saw it in poker. I saw it in DFS. I'm seeing it in sports betting. It's not going to last forever. And you're going to miss the wave. And if you miss the wave, it's gone forever and it's going to be much harder to ever build a bankroll. Get out in front of the damn thing and let these sites offer you stupid money to take advantage of. Take advantage of them, build a bankroll for real, and then get out there and make some real fucking cash. Pardon my French. Make some real cash. Because once the ship leaves the dock, it doesn't come back. You've got an opportunity sitting right in front of you. We're trying to make it easy for you over at Sportsbet Army as well by offering free entries to contests, more cash that we're piling into your pocket to build you a bankroll so that you can get out in front. If the site offers a $500 deposit match, don't worry about the rollover crap. Take it. Who else is offering you a match right now? We can show you how to cash that out. We can show you how to grind up a roll and get most of that money back, get most of that free money added on top. But you have to come over here and you have to get the advice. It's the exact same thing that started with DFS Army a few years ago, and it's in another industry, and it's going to hit you in the face. If you're out ahead of the curve, the wave won't wipe you out. If you're trying to sit there and catch up late, the deck is stacked against you. The time is now. Ask me questions. Ask Anthony questions. Get over here and get involved. But this is just one way to do it for golf. We can do it for, they do all the other sports. They do football and basketball and baseball and hockey and all that other sort of stuff for you. I'm just showing you how I can use DFS Army's subscription to also complement my Sportsbet Army subscription to build a bankroll over time to get out ahead of this wave so that when the deposit matches and deposit bonuses start happening and my state starts legalizing, then I can be out in front of the curve and take full advantage of all of it. And take all that free money out of the industry and keep it for myself. If that intrigues you, you need to talk to us. You need to come over here. You need to get involved. And I'll talk to you on the other side. Peace out, homies. We'll talk to you real soon.